Tiffany Nelms, Executive Director of Asylee Women Enterprise.
We provide holistic services, and our model is a little bit, it's very unique actually. We're kind of the only one-stop shop that I know of for asylum seekers. We offer transitional, emergency and transitional housing for asylum seekers, again, primarily women and children. We have a day program that runs Monday to Thursday, 10 to 2:30, 10 to 3. We do English in the morning, we have a shared lunch, and then in the afternoon, some kind of job readiness, parenting classes, computer skills, based on the interests of the community at any given time. Before coronavirus, we were doing about 2,000 pounds a month out of our pantry. And last year we did about 15,000 diapers from our diaper bank. And in the last, since March, we've done about, I would say 50,000 pounds of food and 20,000 diapers, just because of the need, right? Asylum seekers are not eligible on a regular day for means tested benefits. And so things like the stimulus check, unemployment insurance, they're not eligible for that either. So before coronavirus, we had an actual pantry that was open 2 days a week that people who were already present in the building for class, they could access. And the thing about our pantry is, your traditional pantry, food pantry, is prepared things, macaroni and cheese, canned soups, things like that. Foods that most of the community members we work with, they are not familiar with, and they have a really hard time eating. An adult can kind of muddle through, but if you have a 3 or 4 year old that's used to eating, yuca, and they're not going to eat a box of macaroni and cheese. And so it's just kind of another trauma, right? You've lost everything that's familiar, and now you have to eat things that you don't like. And so we've really tried hard in the pantry. Most of what we provide is fresh fruits, vegetables, rice, dry beans, flour of all kinds, based on, the requests of our participants. Typically people come to our site, but because of coronavirus, we really depend on our volunteers to facilitate classes, process donations. And many of them, because they're retired, they're on the older side, it's not safe for them to continue to do that. But we do have a core group of volunteers that are doing food deliveries. And those are all no contact. So we prepare, the boxes of food that usually last a week to 2 weeks. Community is just so critical. And I think, for me, I was born here, and we kind of live in this very individualistic society, closed off in our houses, and to have this broader view of family and community. I think the staff and the volunteers also get so much from that, and we learn so much from, the women that come from other places, and that enriches our lives as well. So it's just a great place to be.
Melvin Wilson, Baltimoreans United in Leadership Development, Co-Director of Turnaround Tuesday.
I'm co-director of an organization called Turnaround Tuesday, which is a part of BUILD, or a program of BUILD. It's a jobs movement that we've helped over the last 6 years, 860 some people in Baltimore obtain livable wage jobs. About 65% of the people that we work with are ex-offenders. The other 35% of people that are either unemployed or underemployed. So we were doing this before COVID hit. When COVID hit, what we were able to do is to continue to operate. Certainly, we did a lot of our work virtually as opposed to in person, which really dampers the work because we see people, and it's hard seeing people the same way on a computer. But we were able to continue to provide services, even to the point that since COVID, we've helped 65 people get livable wage jobs. So we again have stayed engaged with our folks, and this opportunity I think will really help us to keep people employed, one, and to assist people that may have lost their jobs, or again, and also people that still are looking for employment. I would say about 60% of the jobs that we've helped people get are in hospitals, healthcare, from entry-level positions to positions as community health workers, peer recovery specialists. Again, a large part of our job, we have strong relationships with the anchor institutions in Baltimore, like Johns Hopkins and the University of Maryland and MedStar hospitals. So our people are affected. It's affected entire families. At some point, the transportation industry had shut down. People, we have, as part of Bill did a food distribution along with Johns Hopkins, and we fed over 500 families, and we did it for 16 weeks. So again, being on the ground, understanding what the needs of the community are, and that's what Bill does as organizers on the ground. They go out, literally go door to door and find out what people's needs are. So we've been a beacon of light for so many, and this opportunity certainly broadens that. Build is an organization of organizers, so they do a lot of relational work. So we have strong relationships with the leadership of these institutions, and have done a lot of things over the years working together. So again, those leaderships, we're one of the organizations that they come to in crisis like these, so they know again that they exist in Baltimore, may not be as strong on the ground as an organization like Build Tuesday. Again, just being on the ground and people knowing that we're an organization that they can come to. Again, Build as an organization has been around 40 years. So, we're not new kids on the block, and we've done major accomplishments throughout the city that have had implications throughout the country. Living Wage Bill was a Build initiative. College Bound was an initiative that Bill was part of. So again, having that trust and being part of over 40 institutions across the city really gets us connected where we're trusted and people understand who we are and what we're going to deliver. So one part of what we're doing is making sure we educate folks on social distancing and wearing a mask. I think our people, for the most part, have certainly embraced it and understood the severity of not doing these things. We live in Baltimore as a city, particularly Baltimore City, that has a lot of positivity rates. And we are doing our best to educate people how important it is to follow the rules. And again, I think Zoom has helped us to do that. We'll continue to provide opportunities for jobs. And as we all know, the unemployment rate has skyrocketed. So the numbers that we're used to serving will probably double and triple. So, I think we're going to see a different, not just a different Baltimore, but a different Maryland, and a different country that keep doing the work around jobs that Build up. Turnaround Tuesday does and Build, then to keep being that organization that people can come to and they know that somebody has to fight for something. We'll continue to do what we do and then know the need is just going to be even greater.
Erica Bridgeford, founder of Baltimore Ceasefire 365.
So Baltimore Ceasefire 365 is a citywide movement. We are not an organization yet. So it is all volunteer driven. Nobody gets paid. We do have a fiscal sponsor. And so we're able to take donations like a nonprofit does, and it is tax deductible when people donate to us. It started as one weekend in August, a 3-day weekend, asking for everybody in the city to be peaceful and to celebrate life. Although it's called Ceasefire, it is also called the Baltimore Peace Challenge for people who think, oh, well, I wasn't planning on shooting anybody anyway, right? The goal really is for all of us to be peaceful intentionally and on purpose for an extended amount of time, that we're all intentionally raising our vibration and that we're celebrating life on purpose. We ask people to host life-affirming events, which means they can do anything they want in their community that celebrates life. They let us know about it. We put it on the calendar. And so it was August of 2017. And then we decided to do it every 3 months. So then it became February, May, August, and November. It's always the very first Friday through Sunday of the month, except in May, we always do it Mother's Day weekend. And so the May ceasefire is dedicated to parents who've lost their children to violence, not just moms, because in general, when mothers lose their children to violence, they're very vocal. You know, in general, women are socialized to be vocal about their pain in ways that men are not. So for men, anger is really the only emotion men are, you know, that's socially acceptable for men to show. And so a thing like homicide, snatching your child, mothers are extremely vocal. They're all over the news. They start foundations in their children's name. They get streets named after their kids. Fathers, we don't know what fathers are often going through because they're just not as vocal, publicly anyway. Beginning in November of 2017, we began going to every murder location. So every time somebody got killed, we scheduled a time to show up and bless the space and make it sacred ground and honor the person's life. It also is about sending love and light into the neighborhood that's impacted by the murder, but also sending love and light to the journey of the person who committed the murder. Because we understand violence as a public health issue and as an epidemic. And if we just take people who kill people and we just pile them in a corner somewhere and cancel them, we're never going to end an epidemic like murder, right? And so if people are not loved, and if they don't have new opportunities and access to new choices after they've taken a life, all they ever learn is about their worthlessness, not their worthiness. And so that's also a big part of what we're doing in that space, is we're sending love and light to the journey of the person who did this thing. We also have what we call ceasefire schools, which now are not just schools. So any kind of organization, a neighborhood, a block, a fraternity, a sorority, a church, a synagogue, a mosque, any kind of organization, a hospital research. So the University of Maryland School of Social Work is now a ceasefire organization. So basically what this means, it started with schools. So what it means is that you are an organization who has agreed to make the ceasefire culture a part of the fabric of your organization.